I'd like to begin with some brief information about your background. So could you tell us what your current role is and which firm you are working at?
I am at Tucker Ellis. I'm the firm's librarian. I handle all of our hallways, and I have had a very long career in law librarianship. I did my graduate work in both history and library science. I started my career at Thompson-Hein, took a few years off when I had 2 children, and then resumed my career at McDonald-Hopkins. I then went to Arter and Haddon, and I've been with Tucker Ellis since it started.
And what kind of law does your firm practice?
Tucker Ellis is a general practice firm. However, it has a very dynamic litigation department, and the firm is primarily known for its litigation work.
And how long have you been in the role that you're in?
I've been with Tucker Ellis for 17 years since the firm started.
And how long have you been a member of the law library?
Well, every firm I've worked for had a firm membership at the Cleveland Law Library, and when I went to Thompson-Hein, that was 40-some years ago, so it's been quite a while that I've been a member here.
So how did you first find out about the Cleveland Law Library?
I used to come down here on almost a daily basis when I was at Thompson-Hein. This was our go-to resource for copying law review articles, case law that we didn't have access to in the firm's library, and a host of other materials that we used to use here. I remember going back to the copy room on a regular basis.
And you must have spent a lot of time here over the years?
I spent a lot of time here when I was at Thompson-Hein and at McDonald-Hopkins. This is a wonderful resource. It has a whole host of treatises that most libraries may not have because we're under severe budget constraints, and just didn't have access to it except for coming down to the Cleveland Law Library.
And how often do you visit the Cleveland Law Library now?
Very rarely. This is my first time in a while.
Would you say that a lot has changed at the Cleveland Law Library over the years?
Well, this main reading room is, as I recollect, and it's nice to have this level of comfort when you come into the law library. But the services you provide have changed over the years, and it's rather heartening that you've adapted to the times too.
What do you remember about our staff, past or present, that you'd like to mention?
I think the staff has always been very knowledgeable, very cordial, very professional, and also the great service that the staff provides to its firm members.
Do you have any special memories of your time here?
Being back in the photocopying machine area with Tim Mattia. Would you say that a lot has changed in legal practice since you started your career?
Oh, how can I start? Since I started so many years ago, it was all books. Lexis was just in its infancy. Everyone was scared to use it because it was expensive. Nobody knew how to use computers, even a dumb computer. A machine like Lexis, and I'm not using dumb as in stupid, but that's all it could do was access Lexis. So we've evolved from using books entirely to using a host of electronic materials, and computer-assisted legal research has just taken off. And people used to come physically into the firm's library, and I'm sure physically come in here. Well, now they sit at their desks with their laptops or desktops and do their research.
What do you miss most about the way it used to be?
There was a sense of community when you would go and visit people's offices. When I would come down here on a regular basis, it was kind of fun. It took the edge off of the work environment, and you could chit-chat with people. There was a lot of face-to-face communication, whereas now you work remotely. You're kind of isolated in your offices anyway. You're constantly sending emails back and forth. Telephone calls are a rarity, and when they do occur, it's like, don't bother me. So there is, I think, that loss of human contact that we used to have prior to the electronic revolution that we are now in.
And what lessons have you learned throughout the course of your career?
The big one is change is inevitable. You have the option of complaining about the change or embracing the change. And if you embrace the change, there are so many opportunities available for learning, for professional development, and actually keeping what you do alive and dynamic, as opposed to doing the same things every day, day after day. There's a lot of room for growth and change, and I think it's a good thing to have it, but it's inevitable.
Can you tell us about how you conduct legal research and what tools you use?
Almost all of my legal research and all the research is done online. That's my go-to place. And obviously the internet, Westlaw, Bloomberg Law, and a whole host, Practical Law, and a whole host of other online services that my firm has access to.
And how does your firm use the Cleveland Law Library?
We use it almost as a branch library for the resources that we don't pick up, don't have access to. We rely on the Cleveland Law Library to provide this for us. And you have some excellent services through the members-only online resource, and I use them, and other attorneys use them pretty regularly now.
And do you have a favorite service that the Cleveland Law Library offers?
Interlibrary loan. There are a lot of libraries that will not lend to our firm. And I do have a number of libraries that I use pretty regularly for interlibrary loan, but I don't have access to OCLC. So the Cleveland Law Library manages to ferret out all of these resources that we need and that you provide on a continuing basis.
Thank you.